Did I pay $128 for this palette? Absolutely I did. Oh my gosh, I didn't think I would be so excited to have another Mothership palette, but nostalgia hit me like a truck and I had to get my hands on this. If this is your first time on my channel, how have we not met before? My name is Karen Harris. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. I do have a pesky cold, so don't mind me. And yes, this makeup is very crusty because I filmed this look earlier today, but the Petalmorphosis palette from Pat McGrath showed up at my house a day earlier than it was supposed to, and let's be real, we had to sound the bat alarm and I had to get down into my makeup layer and film 2 looks and tell you guys my thoughts on this palette. So that's what I'm doing today. If you like to see eyeshadow palettes and hear my tan girl perspective, and especially if you like indie makeup, this is the place for you. Highly recommend subscribing to my channel, turning on the bell so you're notified every time I post. And without further blabbering, let's get into it. I am so excited to have a new Pat McGrath palette. I can't believe it's only been 2 years. I feel like it's been a lot longer, but it's probably because I really lost interest in this brand. I feel like the Mothership palettes were really the ones that had a chokehold on me. And after she stopped coming out with them, or at least took a break, it feels like I just wasn't as interested and I really didn't want to keep paying the prices for the lip products and stuff like that. Although I've tried all of it and I think it's really good, I just kind of hit a wall and I was okay with that. So happy to see that we've made a bit of a comeback. This palette was announced, I think, a few days after Pat McGrath was announced as the creative director for Louis Vuitton's makeup line. So I'm very excited to see what that's going to be like. Probably can't afford it, but you never know. Maybe it'll be like the Prada line and just a little bit affordable. I don't know if I can use those 2 words in the same sentence. Anyways, I'm so excited. I have close-ups, I have swatches, so let's dive in. Of course, I had to get it in the lilac shade, and honestly, I kind of forgot that she usually sends out a discount code, so I paid full price for this sucker. Hopefully I don't end up regretting it, because I will say I've seen other people post swatches and I was less than impressed. Obviously, if you see the swatches on her website, they're magical. I'm guessing there's some kind of filter on this picture, but the shades made me lose my mind. And we have a green matte, which I'm so excited about. I've been dreaming of a green matte from Pat McGrath, so very excited about that. At the end of this video, I'll pull out all of my other Mothership palettes and just show you guys like little side by side. And according to the Pat McGrath website, this palette is made in Italy, and it has an 18-month shelf life, and all the ingredients are on the back as well of the packaging. And we also got a little card with all the shade names. So that's something that Pat McGrath does that people don't necessarily love, because it's a little bit annoying to have the card, but I think I threw all my cards out because I really couldn't care less. Step into the Cyber Garden Mothership 12 Petalmorphosis. This 10 shaded palette transforms eye artistry into blooming masterpieces with lush greens, lilac hues, and radiant neutrals. Designed for all artistry levels, it features 4 luxurious finishes, creamy mattes, dazzling astrals, and jewel tone metallics that blend and layer seamlessly, sculpting and illuminating looks that captivate and stay put. So let's talk about the shades here. So Divine Dawn is like a pinky champagne color. Twilight Lilac is a beautiful mauvey purpley shade. It's a great crease color. Cosmic Fantasy is a black and purpley shade. Astral Eden Envy looks like a beautiful chartreuse. I feel like Pat McGrath has a thing for chartreuse colors. I know that it's in one of the other Mothership palettes too. And then we have the shade Astral Sunset Splendor, which is a peachy shimmer shade. And then Nocturnal Blue is a beautiful matte green. Astral Iridescent Iris is a really pretty shade that almost looks like it's a holographic shade because it's got lots of purpley flicks and it's like a silvery base. Lunar Nectar is a beautiful pinky rosy matte. And then we have Blitz Radiant Rhapsody, which, if you know me, I love green eyeshadow, so definitely looking forward to playing with that. And then Blitz Bronze Supernova is a bronzy neutral shade. So very much a half neutral, half kind of colorful. I use that in the most loose terms because if you know me, I'm definitely like a rainbow unicorn, like all the colors of the wind are definitely loved here. So this one definitely looks a little more lackluster than I expected it to be, but I'm excited. I want to put it on my eyes, so let's get into it. We have to do a green eye look, and I'm going to probably do something neutral too. So let's start off with, which one? I think we'll do the green shade called Nocturnal Bloom in the crease for the green look. Would have been nice if she gave us a lighter green shade, but you know, we can't ask for all of that with McGrath. So we just got to take what we're given and just be glad that she didn't make another palette called Rose. I think I clenched my butthole just a little bit when they announced another Mothership, because they've just been doing so many like other things. And I was like, there's no way we're getting another Mothership. Like, I was pretty much thinking that they were going to just announce like Candy Crush 2.0 or some like lip collection or like a gloss collection. So I was really not expecting a palette, but I'm so happy it's here. So this is blending okay. It is a little bit tough. Like, it's not a smooth blend, but I'm trying to get my pigmentation kind of built up on the outer corner and then diffuse it a little bit in the inner corner. So yeah, it's pretty pigmented though. And then I'm going to go into the shade called Lunar Nectar and kind of just blend on the edges. But this is one of those like mattes with shimmers in it, which is not really my favorite formula. And I really hate combining this green with a shade like this, but there's nothing else to blend it out with. So it is what it is. But I played with a indie palette that has greens and neutrals today, and so I can't help but compare this one to that palette, and I can promise you that that palette's not going to be priced at $129 or $28, so something to think about. But for the lid, of course, I want to go in to these two greens. So that's Astral Eden Envy and Blitz Radiant Rhapsody. So we'll see if those work together. Not 100% sure, but we can try. So I'm just going to grab a flat brush and I'm going to go into the more emerald green first, because that one looks like it has a bit more of a green base to it. Look at me, I'm almost done with this Milk Makeup setting spray. I've been trying so hard to use it up because it was leaking in my drawer that I keep my setting sprays in. This is pretty. And then I'm just going to flip the brush over and pick up the Chartreusey shade. Just going to tuck that on the inner corner. That is really pretty too. Wow. I'm just going to bring that kind of towards the middle of the eyelid. But how pretty is that? And then I got to go back into the matte green. And I'm just going to kind of try to stamp that into the crease. That is so pretty. Still nothing like the multi-chromes and shimmer shadows that we've learned to grow and love so much from indie brands. So, I mean, I think she's still independently owned. I'm not actually 100% sure, so don't quote me on that, but I know that there was a lot of information in the news that this brand was not doing well, so happy they went back to their roots. Whoever was running it did a good decision, like deciding to come out with more Mothership palettes. Now you can score these on sale, so you don't have to run out and buy it if you're not in a hurry, but I was, again, like I said, just so excited to get my hands on this, so I had to do it. But this look is almost done. I just need to line the waterline and stuff, so I'll probably do that off camera. So let's switch to this side and just create like a quick and easy neutral look. Okay, so I'm just going to take this brush and I'm going to go into the shade Twilight Lilac, which is the mauve shade, like a rosy mauve shade. And these are like Pat McGrath's bread and butter, right? Like when she was doing all of her rosy tone palettes, I feel like we got so many of these shades. So that's that. I'm also using my Sigma Ignite eyeshadow primer. I did my best to take off the makeup look I had on before, but I can't help but feel like My eyes just look so crusty, so I will definitely do more looks with this palette either on Instagram or maybe something else on YouTube. I'm not really quite sure what yet, but I'm open to suggestions. I feel like it's just so hard to incorporate palettes once they've been out for a while. People are always looking for the next thing, and I know people will be like, I'll watch it, but no, nobody watches. Like, I've even done videos with palettes, like multiple look videos with palettes that aren't maybe the newest palette, and which I'm not complaining. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and play my tiny violin. I'm just saying that's just the trend I've noticed. So that's really pretty. And listen, these looks are not going to be that wild and crazy. So I'm just going to go into Astral Sunset Splendor, which is the really pretty peachy color. I think I might just do that all over the lid. We'll see how it looks. Okay. Am I finally over Pat McGrath? Like, holy Santa Claus. Like, this looks so bad. And, like, I do need to keep in mind that I don't have, like, a fresh canvas. So I've already had makeup on my eyelids today, and maybe that's why. And, like, over here, I feel like the eyeshadow is looking a little discolored because of everything that was already on my eyelids. But I'm feeling less than impressed by these colors on my lid. Just not enough options for the shimmers. Like, there's not enough matte options for the shades she included, but that's just my 2 cents. But overall, I'm not really feeling this as much as I thought I would. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and try and resurrect my face, and then I'll be right back to show you guys the finished look. Okay, friends, so here is the finished look. Just remember, if the makeup is looking a little busted, it's because it's 10 o'clock at night, and I really didn't want to scrub off my makeup and start over, so I just put more makeup on top of everything I had on today. So I was wearing the One Size foundation, and then I was going to do a layer of this, but I decided to just conceal with my concealer. So I just used the Natasha Denona concealer, and then I added a new lip color. This is from MAC, and it's the shade Hodgepodge from their Nudes collection. And then I didn't even touch up my bronzer. I just went in with the Say blush. This is in the shade Chow. I don't know if it was the brush I was using, but I was having a really hard time picking this up, and I was like so sure I love this blush, and now I'm questioning myself. So I don't know if it's just me or if it's just late at night, but I need to definitely do some more investigating before I recommend that one to you during the Sephora sale. And then for the inner corner, I went full on lazy girl, and I grabbed 2 of the ColourPop multi-chrome eyeshadow sticks. These are so convenient for inner corners. And so I used this green one in the shade Golden Pollen. These are both from the Winx collection. And then this shade is called Static Sphere. So just use each of these in the inner corner. So those are some of the things I have on my face today. And yeah, like I said, I'm on the struggle bus. So hopefully you guys don't mind, but I did go ahead and grab all of my Mothership palettes. So let's just do a little bit of comparison. I can't believe I have all of these palettes. I literally feel like it's so excessive right now, but I also love them so much. So disclaimer, okay, if you're not into excess, this is not the channel for you. And all of mine are in the black packaging, and I actually labeled all of the black packaging palettes, so I'm just trying to sort them out in order of release so we can go in order. So let's start off with Subliminal. This is what it looks like, and right off the bat, I don't see any similar shades in this one compared to the new Petalmorphosis palette. Let me just show them to you side by side. This one's definitely more like a cool tone, blue purpley vibe compared to the Mothership 12, but I just wanted to show them to you. And then I have Subliminal, which is Mothership 2. And I definitely wanted to compare these two because, as you can see, we have that shimmer green, but in this palette, it's that really pretty, like, baked formula, and it feels different compared to the new palette, and it's more of like a black and green, whereas the Petal palette, the green feels more like a chunky metallic shade. So texturally those feel different, but now that I'm looking at them side by side, these look quite similar. I'm obviously not saying they're the exact same, but the vibe is definitely there. So I just wanted to compare those two shades. Okay, and then I have Mothership 3, which is Submersive, and this is the one that has the chartreuse shade. So I definitely want to compare those two colors. So yeah, you can definitely tell the new palette versus the old palette. The textures are just very different. So in Mothership 3, this is definitely more green, whereas the Mothership 12 shade looks more like a blackened chartreuse color. Okay, next I have Mothership 4, which was an all shimmer palette, and this is Decadence. This has re-released as like a Star Wars collab, and I think it came out like in a gold packaging. So I'm just gonna swatch this like teal color next to all of these greens. It definitely looks more of like a blue teal shade, and this formula feels closer to the Mothership 12 formula. It's a very thick metallic shimmer shadow, so keep that in mind in case any of this matters to you. Then we have Mothership 5, which was one of my favorite Mothership palettes for a long time. So this is Bronze Seduction, and this one has, I guess, a rose gold shade I could try next to each other. So here's the Bronze Seduction shade, and then this is the one from Petalmorphosis. So I'm always going to swatch the first Mothership and then the current one we're looking at next to each other. So the current shade is actually, oh wait, did I mean to swatch this shade? I swatched the wrong shades. Okay, so this is from the Bronze Seduction palette, the rose gold. This is the taupey shade that I kind of put on the outer corner, and then this is the shade that's on my lid on this eye look, and it's a really pretty like duochromy shade, whereas this one's straight up more like a flaky rose gold shimmer. So similar but not identical. I love Bronze Seduction though, so I mean, I feel like you can always have both, but that's just me. And then we have Midnight Sun, which is Mothership 6. And I feel like I'm forgetting to hold them up side by side, but let me try. Let me try and be better. So here they are next to each other. And this palette has another rose gold type shade, so let me go ahead and swatch that one. Oh, that feels so nice. I don't feel like there's many other shades that are similar in the palette to compare to Petalmorphosis. This one's much warmer, not even close to the two other shades from the number 12. Number 7 is Divine Rose. This was the pink era, and this is where you started seeing all the mauve shadows. So as you can see, some of those matte shades look pretty similar. I don't really care to swatch those if I'm being honest. Okay, and then I have Divine Rose 2. This is in the limited edition packaging, and I think this is the first one that she had a multi-chrome in. So you can see that there. And again, not too similar. Some of those mattes look kind of similar, but other than that, I don't see a huge similarity between those two. Okay, number 9 was Utopia Dream. This is another more pinky palette, but as you can see, that mauve matte kind of continues on. I don't really see anything exactly the same, but definitely like this matte shade looks very similar to the shade that I used on my crease. So that is number 9. Number 10 is Moonlit Seduction, and I thought this one was so pretty as well. I think this is like a great everyday color story. If you can categorize Pat McGrath as something somebody might wear every day. And then this is Mothership 11, which is Sunlight Seduction. And it's another rosy gold type palette. I think after this one, I was just like, okay, no more, no more. And is it really that different? I mean, yeah, this one has pops of green and I got it in the lilac packaging, but I keep wondering, like, if this was in the black packaging, would I even really care that much? I think sometimes it's mostly the hunt that gets us all excited. So as far as I can say, no real similarities, like definitely not like dupes, but you can definitely see that all of the color stories kind of like go together, almost like cohesive. Those are my comparisons. I'm not going to keep comparing this palette to more things. I'll be here all day, but majority of my Pat McGrath collection I have decluttered, and I just have the motherships and some of the other limited edition eyeshadow palettes. But I think with my 2025 collection, I just realized I wasn't really into her stuff as much as I used to be, so I was happy to let go of some of the products to make more room for things I'm interested in from brands that I'm more interested in. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, my first impressions on this palette, honestly, I don't know if it's just because I'm not feeling 100%, but I'm feeling very uninspired by this palette. I think it's beautiful, but I'm like, oh my gosh, this color story is honestly kind of boring. And so I'm feeling a little bit like, eh. Would I have been as excited about this palette if it was from any other brand? Like if Too Faced launched this color story, I probably wouldn't have looked at it twice. So just something to keep in mind. I think the eyeshadows performed as well as I could have expected, but I'm definitely not feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I spent the money. I'm so glad I forked out $129 for this palette. I don't feel that way as far as the formulas go. As far as keeping my Mothership palette collection together, yes, I'm happy I bought it. I'm glad. It's going to look beautiful on my shelf, but that's not really the reason most of us buy makeup. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's nice. I'm glad I have it, but man, I couldn't tell you the last time I reached for any of my Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes to do a makeup look. So I feel like my feelings have definitely changed towards the brand, and I honestly don't even know how helpful this video is going to be for you guys, but hopefully it is, and like at least seeing the swatches and the comparisons helped you guys out. And I definitely want to hear from you guys if you are feeling like you're going to pick this one up or if you're happy to skip it. I know a lot of you are on no buys and low buys, so hopefully you're staying strong. You've almost made it through the first quarter of the year, so there's that. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you are, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend as well, and I will see you in another video very, very soon. If you have a little bit more time, if you want to hang out and watch some of my other videos, YouTube should be popping up some suggestions. So that's it, guys. Have a good day. Bye for now.